Hey, what's going on? It's Instructor Mike. All right, you can follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on Instagram at Yes Mike Said It. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. All right, a wonderful follower asked me, what did I carry when I was a police officer? So I'm going to go through with you some everyday carry options versus what we would carry as police officers, okay? And this happens to be one of my last duty belts that I had when I was a police officer. And this holster is a Safariland holster, the SLS and the ALS version that actually is on this holster. And so I am going to use my family of Glocks, the Glock 17, the Glock 19, and the Glock 26, all chambered in 9mm. And I'm going to tell you why that is, okay? So let's go on ahead and start. First of all, Glock 17, okay? Comes with it a 17-round magazine out of the box. Now, I tend to like my P-mags because there's surface area for me to be able to pull the magazine out in the event a mag flip doesn't work and the magazine doesn't freely fall, okay? Now, we're going to go on ahead, assume every firearm is loaded, point that firearm in the safe direction, keep your finger off of the trigger. I'm going to inspect it. No magazine in the well, no round in the chamber. Good. Slide goes forward, press that trigger in the safe direction, firearm is clear. Here we go. Now, with this firearm, I'm going to go on ahead and put it inside of this holster. Okay, now this is one that accompanies or is made for a light, but I don't have the light on here. I strongly suggest if you're carrying it for duty, make sure that you have the light on here. Beautiful thing about this holster is it will still take the gun, but the retention may be just a little bit shaky. So you always want to make sure you have your flashlight in here. For demonstration purposes, let's go. Okay. Okay, and you always want to make sure that you have a good holster too, because a great firearm with a crappy holster, not a good combination. Okay, it's a bad combination. Make sure you get a good firearm and a good holster. Here we go. Now, this is what I would call a level 4 holster. Have you ever heard of level 4? Probably not. But with everything that a person has to get through for them to be able to grab that firearm, that is a level of retention. Here you have the hood, which protects this part, which is the SLS rotating hood that rotates down. They can't get to that. That's one level of retention. Second level of retention is the actual sentry guard that keeps this from being pushed down. Okay, that's the next level of retention. So that's level 2. This being the hood, that's level 3, that it doesn't just unsnap. You actually have to push it down. That's level 3. Then the automatic locking system that's in here that locks around the ejection port, that's level 4. Push this down, holster is free or gun is free. Okay, now 17-round mag. As a police officer, I would carry this. Would I carry this off duty? Absolutely, because I have no problem with concealment of a full-size firearm. You don't get to pick the battle that you may find yourself in, and battle is a term that's usually used in combat. Don't think that term doesn't apply to the streets. You don't get to pick the day where you may use the firearm. The day may pick you. Make sure you have enough gun and make sure you have enough ammo to be able to defeat the deadly threat and increase the chances of surviving. Let's move forward. You may think that this firearm is too big. I want something small. Let's go to the Glock 19. Here we go. Glock 19. Again, so every firearm is loaded, point that firearm in the safe direction, keep your finger off the trigger. No magazine in the well, no round in the chamber. Slide goes forward, point in safe direction, press that trigger, firearm is safe. Here we go. Carries with it, standard out of the box, 15-round magazine. 15-round magazine. Again, Magpul mags. I already told you why I like them. Here we go. Do they have a holster, okay, duty and off-duty wise, for this type of gun? Absolutely. You can use this for duty if you so choose. Okay, just make sure again you have the light mechanism on the firearm as well. Do they have an off-duty holster or do they have a civilian holster for it? Absolutely. You guessed it, Safariland. Okay, they have other holsters too, but I tend to prefer Safariland, just a personal preference. Okay, take this firearm, insert it inside. Okay, protects the exterior of the firearm and also has the automatic locking system. Okay, more so towards the inside of your body. Some of you may say, well, that's too bulky. Okay, I'll go on ahead and go to the next one, which is the Glock 26. Again, assume every firearm is loaded. Point that firearm in the safe direction. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Here we go. No magazine in the well. No round in the chamber. Slide goes forward. Point in the safe direction. Press that trigger. Now, Glock 26 is the baby of the 19. The 19 is the baby of the 17. Okay, here we go. Comes out of the box. Standard 10-round magazine, unless you get the Glock 26 Generation 5 extended 10-round magazine, thus making it 12 rounds, okay? Without that, the 10-round magazine, your pinky is going to dangle. The magazine will be flushed with the magazine well, okay, or the port, okay? So I tend to like the extender, so that way I have a lot of surface area to be able to maintain the equivalent of a full-size grip of what you would have on the 19 and the 17, okay? Now, if we're talking about the 19, the 17, and the 26, I tend to like my firearms to be able to do what the big boys do if I'm going to get a smaller style firearm, okay? It's not just the caliber, it's the capacity, because there are a lot of things, both physiologically and psychologically, you may not know about you and you may not know about that threat that determines whether or not you'll be able to stop that deadly threat. And so if I would carry a full-size firearm because of those conditions, the conditions don't change just because you're off duty. The conditions don't change just because you're a civilian versus a police officer. Police officers have greater frequency with which they encounter humans on negative situations, but that doesn't mean what could happen in that situation as a police officer would be different for the one time you just happen to encounter a bad guy who wants to kill you, because the conditions are the same. Death is the same. The funeral home is going to be the same in certain respects. You know, so it's just because the negative outcome can be the same doesn't mean that you should sit here and put yourself at a disadvantage by getting a smaller firearm because you want to wear tighter clothes, or you want to have your nails, or you want to look. Make sure that the gun can do what the big guns do. All right. So here's the reason why I chose the family of Glocks, being the 19, the 17, and the 26. They are all chambered in 9mm. They all have double stack mags. As you can see, here is the 17, 19, and 26 side by side. You can tell that there are different barrel lengths, but in terms of the magazine well, the magazine wells are all the same. They take the double stack mags in certain respects when you're talking about the width of the actual magazine, okay? Now, when you're talking about the length of it, that is where there is a difference. I want you to remember this. Big can go into small, but small cannot go into big. In other words, the 26 10-round magazine cannot fit in the 19 and the 17. Why? There's not a lot of length to the these 26, whereas the 19 and the 17, there's a lot of length, okay? Big can go into small, but small can't go into big. So if you want a full-size package and a smaller size frame, in essence, if you want to, then the 26 would be a good option, because I can use the 26 mags, and I can also use the 15-round mags of the 19. I can also use the 17-round mags of the 17. Again, big can go into small, but small cannot go into big, okay? And so if you want to know what I would carry off duty, I would either carry my 17, right, because I can conceal that. But if you're, of a different size body frame and you want something smaller, try the 19. And if this is still too big for you, try the 26. This is very concealable, and you can start off with your 10 or 12 round Glock 26 mags, and in the event the situation gets froggy or whatever the case may be, and you need to eject the mag because you're out and insert a new mag to get back into the action, should there be action and should you absolutely have to, you can go on ahead and get to a larger size mag. In the event you're out of mags here, mag out, mag in, and you're still able to be in the fight, okay? Make sure that you have enough gun, and make sure that you have the right kinds of holsters. They do make holsters for the Glock 26, okay? They do make holsters for the Glock 19, right? Make sure that you have a holster that is going to retain your firearm and fight to retain that firearm, just as if you would if you were on duty, okay? This is Instructor Mike, and you have been trained. Follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on Instagram, and yes, Mike said it. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. What's your opinion on this? Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. What do you like about these different kinds of firearms? And you don't have to go with Glock if you don't want to. You can go with other kinds of firearms. Just make sure that it has that level of consistency, because the battle that you don't know is coming, when it comes for you, you need to be able to survive that, okay? Get your butt in somebody's concealed carry class. It's no one's job to protect you but you. I'll see you.